Okay, welcome my people. So it's been on my mind to actually do this news for a long time now, and I've been saying I will do this. I'm not actually with my camera settings, and I'm not actually at my place, but I decided that I must shoot this video today because it has been on my mind. However, before I start, I want to thank the subscribers. We have luckily reached, by the grace of God and through your help, we have reached 1,000 subscribers, and there are many more things to come in the future. So I want to thank you very much to those who are sharing the videos, to those who are commenting, to those who are liking, and to those who are giving one suggestion or the other. Now, this video is not actually in a perfect form. There are many things that I will be trying up in the channel. So if there are some errors, please leave the comments. Maybe if I know I'm not in the best way, I'm not dressed up in the best way, but I decided that irrespective of the condition, irrespective of where I am, I will have to shoot this video today, because if I don't shoot this video now and I'm wait for the perfect conditions, I might not shoot the video. So you might want to excuse the way my cap is, or you might want to excuse the settings. So let's get straight into the news. Now, one of the first news on our agenda is the presence of government officials from the Niger Republic. Now, when Buhari was in Kano State, there were governors that were spotted on the campaign ground with him. There were two governors from Niger Republic. One of them is Governor Issa Musa from Zinda State, and then we have Governor Zakeri Umar from Maradi State. And the way Nigerians have reacted has been in a very good one, and the way the PDP has also reacted has also been in a very good one. Now we have to understand that even though this is the president of the country, you have to understand that there is something called internal affairs, there is something called public affairs. Election, for example, it's not a thing where you have to invite people from other countries. When the US, the UK, and the United Nations and the EU actually came and they were talking about the Onoge case, I remember PDP people, we have Gabashehu, we have Oshomole, we have these other people saying that they should not interfere in Nigerian affairs. But why are they bringing this people and they are justifying it? That is to tell you the hypocrisy of the Nigerian government. I will talk about that when we're talking about other issues. So that is one of the first things. The next thing on our list is that Governor Wiki has actually raised an alarm saying that the National Security Advisor is going to work with some of the telecommunication companies to actually shut down the internet in a bid to actually ring the election. Now, I actually posted that few weeks ago or a few days ago on my WhatsApp, and a lot of people were reaching out to me and they were saying, "Sir, is this actually confirmed?" Now, why it's not yet a confirmed confirmed news, I believe truly that that is one of the ways to which they will plan to disrupt the election. If they can cut communication from people, then it will be very possible for them to actually ring the election. So why it's yet unconfirmed, Ricky is actually raising the alarm. Now moving on, we have, let's move to the international scene. We have Governor, sorry, I will have to be doing my cap. So we have the situation in Venezuela. Venezuela is going through a crisis right now, and they have an inflation of 1,000,000%. It's currently in Venezuela, if you want to buy tissue paper, the money you will need to buy the tissue paper, you want to ask yourself, like, why not we just use this money as tissue paper rather than go and buy tissue paper? So if you will need a whole stack of money as big as this to buy tissue paper, why not just use the money as tissue paper? And the way the prices of goods are actually increasing in Venezuela, it's very, very alarming. There is food shortage, there is drug shortage, there is people are actually killing each other to get water, to get food, to get stuff. So the situation in Venezuela is terrible. And if you look at the statistics, Venezuela is one of the countries that has they have the largest oil reserve, they have one of the largest gold reserve, they have a lot of minerals right now, and they are actually in a crisis. That is one of the things that actually come when people are in power and they want to leave power. They say, I know this person is loyal. Then when you have a kind of godfatherism situation, you don't put people in positions because they have the capacity, because they have the pedigree to actually deliver. You put them in power because they are loyal. You put them in power because you know them, and that is something that is happening that wants to happen in Imo State. They want to put people because they are your sister because they are your brother. So that is the situation in Venezuela. When the past governor died, the past president died, there were some reforms he actually had that were faulted doing social programs. People were not paying enough and all that, and he brought the new president, which is Nicolas Maduro, into power. And this guy has been incompetent. Not only incompetent, he does not want to leave out, and that is the problem with African nations. That is the problem with Latin Americas. You see incompetent people who are not delivering on promises still want to hold to power and are not ready to let go. And it's actually a very, very big problem. So what is the situation in Venezuela? Apart from their failing economy and people killing themselves and all that, currently there is there is two presidents and there is two judiciary Supreme Court in Venezuela right now. Why? The US and other countries, we have Colombia and other countries, we have France and all that, who are saying that the president should step down so that they should give someone else a chance to actually bring back the country. The president, he says he's not stepping down. He was actually sworn into power because he won the elections a few weeks ago, and there is a big problem right now. And not only that, I'll play a video for you now of which the Venezuela president was actually sending a letter out to a warning out to the United States government that the United States government are trying to disrupt the elections, and if they disrupt the election, what happened in Vietnam is actually a minor case. It is a shishi case. So that is the problem in Venezuela right now. So watch the video. Okay, moving on, we have the case where PDP has actually asked Buhari to actually resign over the issue of him bringing these governors into the state. And there is a report that Garba Shehu actually said, when he actually wrote, he said that these governors came into Nigeria to see what Buhari is doing, that it is very rare to have a leader in the whole of Africa as Buhari. I'm like, you're bringing these people to come and campaign in this time? Oh yeah, they have to come because in the West, that was what Nihu Ribadu said. You cannot restrict people because this is West Africa and people should be allowed to move. And that is a very, very big problem in Nigeria. So let's move on to the next news. The next news now is that ASU is still on strike. And somebody actually posted something and said that if ASU does not come, people should not actually vote. ASU is on strike, and ASU, they've actually agreed that they will join the election, and ASU will continue to be on strike. Now, it tells us that the people who are ruling our country are not actually interested in the future of our country. So that is a very big problem. Our kids have been at home for a long time now. They are not actually talking about the kids. There's a vice president who is going about every year doing trader money. Our people are getting kids. Imagine in Nigeria, a former chief of air staff, somebody of such caliber, Alex Bade, was actually assassinated. There is nothing that nobody is brought to book right now. Man, there's a very big problem in our country. Let me not get too emotional, because if you're trying to read the news, you want to put things, you want to keep emotions out of the news. Let's talk about the issue that is actually rocking Nigeria right now. It's the issue of Onoge. Let's talk about Onoge. Now, let's put his picture on the screen. Now you see Onoge on the screen. Who is Onoge? Onoge is the chief justice of Nigeria. And what is the actually case that is befalling him? The case befalling him right now is the case of assets declaration forgery. And I will talk about Onoge. I will talk about the federal government, the case they are following. Then I will talk about some of the lapses that are in the case. Now, first, the case against Onoge is that he failed to declare his assets, of which he has actually admitted that he failed to declare his asset on the ground that he forgot. Now, there has been an admission on his part. If you look at the federal government, when the federal government have treated this case, on the 7th of December, his case was filed. On the 8th, the federal government have made all the necessary investigations, and they've come to a conclusion, and he was arraigned the next day, right? And if you see the way they have followed up his case, they wanted to remove him immediately and swore in a person, of which they actually did, of which Buhari, who said he received a court order that he should take away the chief justice so that they can put in a new chief justice. Now let's analyze the case. First, I have said that the Onoge is actually guilty. And according to Falana, when he was being interviewed on CNS TV, he said that Onohe is actually guilty and that Onohe should honorably resign, but that the federal government is at fault. That is one of the things he actually talked. The federal government, the process to which the federal government removed him is at fault, and that the president has no power to remove him. And he was actually faulting the hypocrisy of Nigerian leaders, people like Obasanjo, people like what is his name, Saraki, who did things like that. And people who are now shouting, the government, when you are not in government and somebody in government is doing wrong, you shout. But when you are you're the one who are doing wrong, when you leave power and somebody else is not doing the same thing, you still shout as if you are now a saint. So if you look at the case of Onohe, the way the federal government handled the case is totally unconstitutional. Why Onohe is guilty, the president has no power to suspend or to sack Onohe. Now, Nigerians all over Twitter, on social media, and over other media has been saying that the president did not sack Onohe but suspended. But you have to understand that the president lacks the power to do 3 things. If you want to put it in 3 things, number 1, the president lacks the power to appoint or to hire. The president lacks the power to fire, and the president lacks the power to suspend. The president lacks that. And according to experts who have been talking on the issue, is that it takes 3 people. First is the National Judicial Council that appoints who should become a chief judge of Nigeria. Now it's the Senate that actually confirms that, and once 2/3 of the Senate actually agrees, then they can now submit that agreement to the president, and the president can now appoint. So what the president is just basically a person who just recognizes the person. Now, when it also comes to the removal of the Chief Justice, the National Judicial Council are the ones that are responsible. They submit the case, the Senate votes 2/3, and then it's actually removed. But if you see this, the president, which is the executive arm of government, actually did not follow the constitution. Rather, they said they were following the court order. The question is, between the constitution of the country and the court order, which one is bigger? Now, there are many people who are actually saying that Buhari, all of a sudden, who do not actually have respect for the rule of law in Nigeria, all of a sudden became very obedient to the rule of law. Now, there are many cases that Buhari has disobeyed the court blatantly. Some people say there are 16 cases to which the president has disobeyed the rule of law. When you look at Zazaki, who the court have more than 30 times ruled that he should be released, he is still being kept in court, right? What about Deji, who said that the police should not be involved in partisan affairs? He is still being kept in court. Countless people are still in court. What about Dasuki? There are many people who court has ruled release this person. The government have kept them. All of a sudden, the one who is not obedient to court order is not being obedient to court order. That is the issue that we have to understand, that if Nigeria will progress, then Nigeria, there has to be obedience. There has to be obedience at point A, at point B, up to point Z. You cannot disobey at point A, point B, then you get to Z, then you say you suddenly want to obey the constitution, or you want to obey the rule of law. We have to understand that if Nigeria will have to progress, they will have to drop religion aside, we have to drop ethnicity aside, we have to drop party aside, and face issues as they are. Let's move on to another issue. The other issue we have on our hand is that CUPP, the Coalition of United Political Parties, have filed to the court that they should declare Buhari unfit. Many videos have surfaced online, not even online. We've seen the president fall. We've seen the president fall again in another rally. We've seen the president demonstrate like he cannot hear very well during the debate and other scenarios. We've seen different stuff that actually point to the fact that this man may literally be forced. According to Buba Galadima, he said that he have never seen such desperate group of people who want to come to power by all means, that they are forcing this man. And when President Buhari was before Kadira Ahmed at the engine the candidates where he was being interviewed. You saw the countless time to which Osinbajo was bailing him out, and you saw the problems before. He demonstrated that he is not actually the leader. He's not actually a person to actually lead Nigeria the right way. While you may be talking about there are many things, you have to understand that are if you have a company, you will not employ a person at the age of Buhari to take over your power, to take over power. I believe there are plenty of people in APC who can do much better than Buhari because the man needs rest. We'll also talk about Obasanjo later. The man needs rest, right? So if he's been declared unfit, he has demonstrated it many times that he is unfit to rule the country. But there are people who see nothing, who are taking these steps as Buhari has integrity. The question is, no matter what front, if the worst come to worst, of which everybody is going to die, let's say, for example, Buhari dies tomorrow, will someone else not lead the country? Please don't quote me on this. This is just the fact. If something happens to Buhari tomorrow, will someone else not lead the country? When Buhari was off the country for medical treatment, was someone else not in the country in the position of leadership? It shows that you cannot, we cannot be just, you cannot be putting the lives of 200 million people at the disposal of a man who is unfit from medical perspective, psychological perspective, and is unfit when it comes to educational perspective to be ruling the country. Mine is to cast the news. Nigerians know better what to do. What is the other thing on our agenda? We have the Ambode impeachment saga. Now, in the House of Assembly in Lagos State, 36 out of 40 lawmakers have agreed by themselves. So when you have in any Senate in the world, I think mostly in the world, you just need 2/3 of the Senate to actually carry out something. So when you see that the president, one of the reasons why the Electoral Act could not go through in Nigeria is because why the president refused to sign the Electoral Bill, the Senate could not get the 2/3 to actually go through. So we're talking about in Lagos State now, 36 out of 40 lawmakers have actually agreed to impeach the sitting governor on the grounds of illegal spendings that were not part of the appropriation bill, right? So, and many of them are actually saying that this is part of a political plan to actually totally humiliate the what? The governor. Remember, APC said he should not contest. He went ahead to contest, and he was beating him was how do the Englishman call it? He was woefully beaten, right? So that is some of the issues that are going on. Another issue that is I'll bring to you now is Wole Soyinka has actually said that APC and PDP do not deserve his vote. That is, this old man who is learned, who has seen the history of Nigeria, has seen the stuff, who has been also there in struggles and all that. He said that these two people are like 6 and half a dozen. So what is the difference between 6 and a half a dozen? See, these two people are like what? They are the same. There is nothing what? There is nothing better. So if such a person is saying, I don't see anything in these people, it's time for the Nigerian youths who are more than 50 to 60% of the population to actually say that they need someone better to take them towards the promised land. If you want to come into power, you should come into power because you have something to offer, not because you are desperate. If you are desperate, you will turn Nigeria to Venezuela. Then you will need stack of money to buy tissue paper that you want to use on the toilet. Now, moving on to Kebbi State, you saw what happened to PDP, how the PDP switch actually collapsed. And a lot of people are saying that the way they collapse, that is how they will collapse in the election. And people have turned it like the way a PDP stage collapse is the way the problems will collapse. Nigeria, it's time for something good. So there are many things like, why did the stage collapse? There are times where you see, I think in one of the states, APC, there were empty people. I think it was in Aba. The stadium was empty. There was nobody. Even though that people don't want APC and PDP, these people are still forcing themselves on Nigerians. Oh, the president is doing much. The president is doing much. The president is doing much. Listen, this time the youth do not want APC. The youth do not want PDP. Let's move on to the other news. We have President Trump government shutdown. Now you might be asking, why did I bring this news? President Trump is insisting that he wants to build a wall. And why is he insisting that he wants to build a wall? He is saying that he does not want people to illegally come into the United States. And he has shut down the government for a long time now. And workers have not been going to work. And they are not receiving pay. And he's saying that until the Senate give him what he wants, he will not call off the strike. He has called off the strike. He has gone on that strike, and they're still in strike now. That is a very, very big problem. Now, one of the things you have to understand is that Trump is a die-hard businessman. He was a businessman before. So there was a book he wrote, The Art of the Deal, that talks about how to negotiate. You saw what he did with Kim Jong-un. When the North Korea president was shouting on, at the end of the day, they came to a dialogue. He has actually put U.S. troops out of what? Syria. He's saying that if they want the U.S. to protect them, then they should pay. So why am I bringing this? I'm bringing this because I think it's time for Nigerians to say we want to shut down the state simply because the government are not functioning. You saw what happened in Osun State when Osinbajo came to visit. An Osun State, is it senator or House of Representative maker, a lawmaker, was beaten because he was poorly representing the people. You are seeing what Biafra is agitating for. Biafra is saying that there will not be any election in the Biafra land come February 16th. That is the referendum date. Now, why I do not support secession? Because if you want to succeed, it's not going to be an easy thing. It's going to involve the loss of life. It's not something that you just do on paper. Let's secede, take these people away. It's going to be a very tough conflict. And I believe there are ways, like someone said, it's better to fight battles without, you want to fight and win a battle with minimal losses. You don't want to fight and win battles, and by the time you come, you will see that you lost a lot of people. Let's say, for example, you saw the fight that has to do with the civil war, of which they actually said we're not going to fight. You saw how a lot of people lost their life from starvation and a lot of stuff. So one of the things we will have to sit down and talk about is, I don't know other ways to actually resolve issues apart from war. Because if you look, there are many tensions around the world. You see the tension in between China and Taiwan. China is saying Taiwan is part of them. Taiwan is saying no, they don't want to become part of China. There is a way to actually resolve things like that. You see the war between how Russia fired at Ukraine vessels. You see what happened between North Korea and the US. You see, so there are many ways right now to actually resolve battles. If you don't do that, it's going to descend into a lot of problems. And you can see the problem with Boko Haram. How did Boko Haram started? It started from what is happening with the Shiites in Zazaki. Listen, when the leader of Boko Haram was killed, it was from that time that the problems started. So Nigerians, we should know how to actually face our problems. Why I suppose there should be government shutdown. There are ways people can actually demonstrate to the government that they don't want these things anymore. Like, Nigerians are not actually serious most of the times. We can organize 1 million march. Like, we don't want this government. If people listen, let me tell you the story of Romania. Romanian, there was a time the former emperor or the leader who was in the Soviet Union, there was a time he was in power, Ceausescu. He, when he remained in power, he made an announcement that provoked people, that people went into the street immediately. And they did not leave the street until the man left the power. When the man saw that, he saw the large crowd and he thought that it was going to be a large crowd as usual. And he was thinking that these people are going to leave. The people refused to leave. And people were entering the parliament building. They have the largest parliament building in the world. People were entering the building, and he saw that the army is likely to leave him. That was when he fled. So some of the times when Nigerians, when we are saying this government will complain, PDP 16 years, APC, we are complaining, there is no light, look at our roads, our children are not going to school, look at poor facility, we just complain. Listen. If Nigerians really mean serious, are really serious, sorry for my English, are really serious, if 1 million people, 2 million people stay on the streets, like what you are seeing in France, in Belgium, still on the streets, the police and all these people, there is little they can do. The question is, there are people who want, no matter, irrespective of what their life is, they want to live the life, whether they are living in bondage, whether they are living in lack, whether they are living in pain, whether they are living in penury, provided that they are living, they don't care. Look at what Sir Patrick Henry said. He said, if to live, it means that I will be in chains, he said he does not want. He said what he wants is either they will give him freedom or they will give him death. And these are the people that can actually do a lot of things. If not, there's a very, very big problem. Let's go to the other news. We're wasting 2 minutes time. Now, there is a news right there that Bobby Wine is set to contest and challenge the president who has been ruling the country since 1986 in 2021. So 2 years from now, he is saying that irrespective of the beating he has actually faced, there are other people who have faced the same beating. But right now, he's ready to contest and to challenge the person who is in power. And that is a very, very big one. I think it's time for people to actually come up. Yes, in Africa, you go to Zimbabwe, you go to South Africa, you go to Rwanda, you go to all these countries, Congo, and people don't want to leave power. They are not effective, yet they want to die in power. Even when they finish, they want to put their children. And it's a very, very big problem. You saw what happened in Gambia, that Jammeh have to be forced out of power. You saw what happened. You see what is happening in Cameroon. How can somebody be ruling the country for like 80 years? You see what is happening? As in, I don't understand. And they say they have democracy. What kind of democracy is that? But let's move to the other news. There's another news again on our agenda that ECOWAS are actually finalizing plan in the next year that they're going to have a single currency, just like the European Union. So plans like the metrics, plans like the pictures, everything that they are perfecting it right now, and in the next year that the whole ECOWAS region, Economic Committee of West African countries, including Nigeria, they will have a single country, a single currency that will help them in transactions, and that is a very, very good one. And let's see what becomes of them. We also say they will have a single army and all that. So I don't even know what the ECOWAS is doing. I don't even know if they are effective. I don't even know what the AU, Organization of African Unity, is actually doing, because they are not effective. We're not saying what they are doing. I know that. Moving to the other news, we have the Osun State election. Now, the Osun State election has been concluded. They did the election the first time, as you are all aware of, and the election was clearly conclusive. And then the 1 week time, which is next Saturday, they did the election again. And then the person who was declared the winner the first time was now being declared the loser. And the case has been in court. So there was something that actually happened in the court, of which someone of the APC actually alleged that the results were actually altered. Now, they now conflicted themselves in the court. That is to tell you, most of the times, that it takes a lot of things. It takes, someone said, it takes a lie to cover a lie. It's true. It takes a lie to cover a lie. So when you are telling a lie now, when you are confronted, you will tell another lie, because you know that lies have loopholes. When if something is true, you just say it. Where are you coming from? Okay, I'm coming from the market. If the market is where you're coming from, let's say for example, you are in the store, your mom will have a shop, and then you were not in the shop, and then a customer came and said, Kokoko, there was nobody on the shop, and they called and said, Mama Peter or Mama Boboy, nobody's in your shop. Oh, then they now call you, oh my son, where are you? Mommy, I'm in the shop. And your mother say, you're not in the shop. So it will take you what, one lie to cover another lie. That is the problem. So you see APC people, they are saying, how do we do this? Like, let's move on to the next news. We have Big Brother Africa Nigeria. They've actually come for their audition right now, and you can see thousands of people who literally want to win the $10,000, sorry, the $100,000 award. Come and see Nigeria people who are rushing to get into this stuff. And there are many people who don't have respect for this stuff. Many people say this Big Brother Africa is something that is morally incriminating on the Nigerian character, that we Nigerians are not actually known for things like that. You know, many of the people, if you look at Nigeria, for example, many of the people who travel outside of the country, they don't go outside the country to bring good things like people living the better life in abroad. Most of the things they bring back is yeah man, how to earring, how to sack. It was from the US and all those countries they brought it from, like those people who went to jail, how to sack the trouser, and how to. There are people now who are campaigning and saying that they should allow gay in Nigeria. So you don't bring anything new to the country. They just want to spoil the country. So people are actually saying like, the person who wins the Kabe mathematics competition, they get maybe a laptop, they get few thousand, maybe 1 million naira and all that. The person who open breasts, who are involved with, there are many who are sleeping with each other. They are the ones they put a high price. And somebody is actually saying that when you look at this, you consider the future of the Nigerian. The question is, what pays now? Now, everybody wants to sing music, and you see the Nigerian music, nobody is singing music to actually address the issues of society. Everybody's going to the popular way. What is the popular way? Popular way is to sing, use naked women, and all that, and you will get people who will watch your videos. You look at the Nollywood scene, look at the Nollywood, the people who are acting movies. When people like Pet Edochie were acting movies, Kanayo Shegu Areze, and all these people were acting their movies. I remember growing up and watching Nigerian film. Most of the movies were instructional. When you talk about marriage, it was instructional and all that. Those days, if they want to act a scene of fornication or adultery, you see a man and a woman just go into the door, it close, and then you just see that is where that particular part will just end. But right now, you see a man and a woman as in doing the undescribable on the television, and that is what they're selling now. Listen, go on YouTube. There is so much stuff that has to do with Nigerians that are actually putting our values on the ground, and it calls for a reformation in the Nigerian system. The values that Nigeria once said, we're no more holding them right now. Why? Because everybody wants to make money. We don't care if we sleep with each other. We don't care if we drop education. Look at our schools. It's terrible. So those are the problems that are facing us. Okay, let's move on to the next issue on our list. We have Obasanjo letter to Buhari. Now, Obasanjo has actually provoked, and he has written a letter to Buhari, and this is not the first time he wrote a letter. He wrote a letter to Buhari. He wrote a letter in 2018 to Buhari, and it says Buhari is a failure, and that he has been taught in the military that never to reinforce failure, that the president needs rest, and he should go and rest. And you have to understand stuff that apart from Abubakar Al-Salami that actually released Obasanjo from prison, he's the only one who Obasanjo has not written letter to. So when it comes to Goodluck and all these other leaders, Obasanjo has written a letter to them criticizing them. And a lot of people are saying that he's actually writing this letter to them because he thinks that his government is the best. Irrespective of whatever you want to think of, whether you want to say that Obasanjo, some people say Obasanjo is no more have power to control anybody. That is why he's writing those kind of letters. Irrespective of the things, we have to look at the letters and say, is this the first time that the news is actually reporting these things? Are the things that Obasanjo is saying, are they actually true? Is he writing him? We don't care the intention he wrote the letter, but what I'm concerned about is the content of the letter. One of the first things he talked about is the issue of election ringing, that Buhari and his APC people are trying to ring the election. He also talked about the issue of insecurity in the country. He also talked about the issue of nepotism. He talked about the issue of economic failure in the country. He talked about the issue of the Nigerians are more divisive now. He also talked about the issue where Buhari is likely to truncate democracy. Talk about the issue of nepotism in Buhari government. Talk about the issue of Buhari being of condoning people who are involved in corruption. That people, once people run to APC, that they are not sent and they are left alone. And talk about many issues. Now, don't look at Obasanjo itself. Look at the letters. The letter. Don't look at the messenger. Look at the message. Is the letter true? It is true. Nigerians have never been more divided than themselves. There has never been such a great nepotism in government as today. And the question is, where are we heading to in Nigeria? Let's move on to the next news. We have the news about Lawrence Onoshe, who posted on the social media handle, and he said that have a great weekend. And the title of he posted the video, the hidden benefits of sex. Now, we don't care. If you are a public officer and you use that medium to actually communicate with the public, you have to be responsible. The problem of Nigeria is that people are irresponsible. I think there was a time where one of the news agencies in the United States accused one of the senators, Nigerian senators, that went abroad and was accused of being involved with prostitutes while he went there for the government function. And when the government denied, he could not actually sue them or say that this thing is actually wrong. Now, Nigerians have to come to the point where there is something called responsibility. If you see, for example, that a man of God use his Twitter handle or use the pulpit to, why are we criticizing men of God? We criticize men of God because you see this man of God. Why are people criticizing Father Mbanke? Father Mbanke came and brought Ganduje, who we know to be a corrupt person, right, on his stage. Why would people not criticize him? So when you see a government official, somebody is using their position in a way that is not correct, people are often critical, and that is a natural reaction. So for a government official like Lawrence Onoshe to come and put such a thing before the public, it's actually demeaning. It's like President Buhari in his Twitter handle, or Garba Shehu, or Reno or Mokre, any of these people put something like that. Listen, let's see things from a proper perspective. I as a person, if I am working in a company and the company communicates with the public, the company can say, okay, use this stuff to communicate with the public, which is what Lawrence Onoshe is doing. If you have and you want to communicate your thoughts or whatsoever, you want to be very careful. What kind of thought are you communicating? The same way Lawrence Onoshe will be criticized if you use her Twitter handle for something else. The same way people will criticize that when she used. So people should learn to be responsible. And then the last thing on our list is that sorry is about to come to Edo State, and they are saying that they want to organize a 1 million march for him. And many people you saw obviously stepping down, and the many issues that actually surrounded our case. Now that leads us to many conclusions that if we will progress in Nigeria, we have to support the young people. And I'm not telling you who to vote here. You have to support someone who has a track record and who has a vision. I believe that APC and PDP has nothing to offer. The Obasanjo who wrote a letter in 2008 and who wrote a letter in 2019 now, 2018 and 2019 now, is the same person who endorsed Buhari to come into power, who was against Goodluck. The same article who is contesting against him is the same person. So the thing is, you have to understand that what they are portraying before the public is not what is going on in the on the behind. They want to use Nigerians' head against each other. Don't waste your votes in this 2014. Look at our schools. Look at our health sectors. Look at our roads. 58 years now, we cannot even boast of 12 hours power supply. Can't even boast of 5 hours. So you want to vote very wisely, because your life and the life of your kids depend on this vote. So with that, I want to say a very big thank you. I'll come to the end of today's news. So another edition is going to come out tomorrow, and we'll also analyze the news, and then we'll also be doing the weekly edition where we'll combine everything. So if you like the presentation, I want you to comment, and I want you to share this video. Let's hit 10,000 subscribers or more by the end of the month. So thanks and bye.